So, in the last video, we went over the mothers who were pushing kids off onto fathers that didn't want them and the reaction that they got. So, as I promised, today we are looking at the dads who want to be a part of their kids' lives and are being alienated from the kids. Now, I have a few clips I want to try to add in here, starting with this one here. Now, I don't know how it ended. It was a pretty short clip, but it's to show the entitlement that a lot of these mothers seem to have, and the way they use a kid to kind of manipulate the situation and use a kid as a tool to more or less get the dad to bend to their will. More or less like saying if a dad doesn't do what the mother says, then she's not going to let him get the child. So let's get started. This is pretty messed up, the way she handles the situation. I like the way he handled it. I understand where he's coming from, but the way she handled it was just poorly handled. And the court system, what baffles me is how the court system just automatically assumes that these mothers are going to do the right thing. They don't seem to understand when a dad says, look, this is the way the mother is, she's using the kid as a tool against me. The courts don't seem to understand or recognize that, so they just assume that the mother's just going to do the right thing, and that's not always the case, and this is actually going to prove that.
I'm not. I just trying to be gonna give me my baby or not. I can put my own child in the car. Don't touch my car. Give me my baby so I can go. If you give me my baby, you can go. I am grown. Don't touch my car, man. Don't touch my car. Boom. Stop. You still got it okay? Alright. Now she don't want to give me my baby. I drove up here for 2 hours and she don't want to give me my child. Yes, it is a car seat in there, man. Car seat right there. No. Give me my baby so I can go. You don't need to be in my car. It's a car seat in there. No, I'm not yelling. I want you to give me my child so I can go home. I'm not screaming.
Yeah, that's some narcissistic stuff right there, man. Like, and that's the way narcissists. I can't honestly say because I don't really know this girl. I haven't been, seen much on her other than this clip to be able to actually say that. But I mean, that's a very narcissistic thing to do, is to manipulate the situation. Well, you're screaming at me, you're pushing me, and I didn't see this guy doing any of that. I've seen him trying to keep her out of the car, and believe me, I get that. Because I don't want my baby mama in my car. She's got no business in my car. That's my property. That's my space, and you're not allowed in it. And like she's saying, she said, well, you're making a big deal out of it. Well, if it's not a big deal, then just hand the kid to him so he could put the kid in the car and leave. If it's not a big deal. But she's making it a big deal.
I want my child so I can go home. But get in the car. No, she did not. Come on, man. I ain't got time to be playing with you, bro. I'm trying to get home. Well, give me my baby so I can leave.
See, if it's not that big of a deal, then just hand the kid to him so he can put the kid in the car and go. And you saw the way she said, when she asked me to do it, and then he said no, she didn't. And then she asked the kid. She was trying to bring the kid into the situation. When the kid doesn't care, she's probably like, look, just give me to my daddy so we can go. She's like, I don't care who puts me in there. Let's just go. Let's get. I mean, this just is it's unnecessary.
All right, now you're making it upset.
You got all this on camera? We will be showing you to the judge when we get my baby. Okay, and give me 10 days. That's exactly what I'm doing. So you're not gonna give me my baby?
It's not a big deal.
Are you gonna give me my baby or not, Melissa?
You cannot.
You see the way she's trying to use the kid as a tool to get him to do whatever she says. Like, so if he's not gonna let her put the kid in the car, now she's not even gonna let him have the kid. Like, really? And that's what that's why I said, like, judges don't seem to understand the way women use the kids as a tool against men. They don't seem to comprehend that, or they don't care. It's probably it may be a combination of the two. Maybe they don't care because it's not their kids, so why do they care? It's just another day at the office for them. But I mean, this man is having to deal with this nonsense because she's wanting to basically infringe on his privacy, because like I said, that's his personal vehicle, that's his personal property, and if he doesn't want her in it, that's his right. And you can't deny a father from seeing his kids simply because he won't let you put the kid in the car.
Are you gonna give me? Can I see my child?
Yes.
Okay, well give her to me so I can go home. I'm not screaming at you, but you're playing games, and
No,
I
I'm
don't feel
not
like
playing
playing
games.
with you.
I tried to open the door and you pushed me.
I didn't push you. It's on camera. If they think I push you, it's on camera. But can I have my child so I can go home?
You see the way they manipulate that situation? Well, I tried to open the door and you pushed me. For one, he didn't push you, because we all saw that. He did not push you. He just got in the way so you couldn't open his door. Number two, you ain't got no right to open his door. That's his car. That's his property, not yours. You don't see him going in your car. But that's the way they manipulate the situation. Oh, well, you pushed me and you're screaming at me, even though it's on camera. Because they plan on, if he decides he wants to take her to court for this situation, she's going to use that. She's going to say, well, he pushed me and he was screaming at me, even though it's on camera.
I don't want to keep going back and forth with you. I don't. I'm tired of doing it. You always
It's
doing the
not back
most.
and forth.
What can I
I
do?
just tried to put her in.
You give her to me so I can go.
Don't push me.
I'm not pushing you. Just give me my child.
In the car. Come on.
You give her to me so I can go, man. You ain't got to do this.
I'm not doing anything
Come on,
wrong.
Sophia.
Look, he tried to walk up and grab the kid, and she picked the kid up just quickly, because she knew if he got that kid, she wasn't going to be able to put the kid in the car. She could have let him just walk up and take the kid and go put the kid in the car, but she didn't do that. She wanted to make this big old scene, this unnecessary scene, because she wasn't getting her way.
It's not a big deal.
Man, you're not touching my car, bro. That's funny. That's not happening. I don't want you in my car. I don't
I'm
trust
not
you.
getting
I
in
do
the
not
car.
trust. I don't
What
want
am I
you in
going
my
to do
car.
in the
And
car?
everything. I just don't want you on it. I don't want you to touch her. I know how you are.
That's a baby seat.
It's not a baby seat. That's a
Okay,
car
then
seat.
let me in.
No, you can get in my
Rodney,
car and
this is
leave.
not a big deal.
Are you gonna give me my child or not? Give it to me right now, so I can.
And you just heard her say again, it's not a big deal. So if it's not a big deal, then why not just hand him the kid so he could put the kid in the car? And, I mean, and this is clearly a wet day. So, I mean, and obviously a cold wet day because the kid's got a jacket on. So, why would you want to keep the kid out in that weather and make this big unnecessary scene simply because he won't let you get in his car? And like he said, I know how you are. And believe me, there's not just myself, but plenty of other men who have that same mentality. We know how those women are. We know if they get close to our property, there's a chance they may do something to damage that property. And we just don't want to take that risk.
I'm not gonna keep doing this with you, bro.
I'm not doing anything. All I did
Well, get in your car and go home.
pushed
What are you
me.
doing?
All I did was try to put her in the car
Bro,
because she
give
was
me my child so I can go.
See, she said, look, I'm just going to actually rewind it because this is actually the end of that, but I want to point that out real quick.
All I did was try to put her in the car
Bro,
because she
give
was
me my child so I
crying.
can.
Look, she said, all I want to do is put her in the car because she's crying. That kid does not look like she's crying. She doesn't look... I mean, that's the way these women do, man. They just like, the kid is a tool for her to get her way. Well, look, the kid is crying. You're screaming at me. You're pushing at me. And this man didn't do any of that, and this kid is not crying. She's just making an unnecessary scene for nothing. And courts don't seem to understand this is the situation that a lot of men have to deal with. Like when I was going through my situation, I told my lawyer, I said, you know, when the court date comes, I said, this is the end for you. I said, it's just the beginning for me and him. And it really was, like, because we've been through a lot of mess from then till now. Just like I would imagine this man has also been through a lot of the similar issues. Is like when the court date was over, it was just beginning for him because he has to deal with this every time. I'm assuming, I would imagine that he has to deal with this, if not every time, at least a lot of the time, which is why he feels the need to record. And I actually encourage any man, if you're dealing with situations like this, I encourage you to record all the time. Because, like, you seen the way she was trying to twist around. You're screaming at me, you're pushing at me, the kid's crying, and none of that happened. And yet she repeated it throughout this little video. And this is only a 2-minute and 30-second video. And how many times did you hear that? Alright, so like I said, that's pretty much the end of that one. So we're going to move on to the next clip real quick. Alright, so this is the other one. As you can see, the title is Father Sneaks to See His Daughter Because Baby Mother Wouldn't Let Him. And the reason I wanted to do this video is because of, like I said, there are dads out there that want to be involved in their kids' lives. Now, I'm not really sure why the fathers involved do not have at least 50-50 custody, and I can't speak on that, but at least in this one and the other one, the next one that I'm going to show, you can see the bond that the kids have with the dads. So it's obviously not because the dads were bad dads. Which it really kind of baffles me as to why they're not allowed to see their kids. Because if a mother has the authority to decide whether or not you get to see the kid, it usually means she has full custody, at least full physical custody. Meaning she can choose whether or not to let the dad see the child. And so the reason I wanted to add this one in is because I want you to see this dad is having to sneak to see his kid that he's not allowed to see. And I want you to see how happy this kid is with her dad. So, and the problem with that is if they're so happy together, why is the mother not allowing the dad to see the child? Because there's obviously not an issue between how he's treating the child, because if he was treating the child bad, this kid would not be so happy to see him. So let's get started so you can see what I'm talking about.
What's up, baby? What's up, brother? I got to park right so I can pull off when your mama comes. You know?
I mean, just two things real quick there. I mean, for one, you heard how excited he was to see her. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody, if he's not able to see the child like he should be able to, obviously he's going to be excited to finally get to see her again. But it's also messed up that he has to park his car in a way that he can get out of there quick if the mother shows up, because he knows she's going to cause a scene with him wanting to come and see his child, which is messed up. Because like I said in the last video, why are mothers pushing kids off onto fathers that don't want them, but they're alienating kids from the dads that do want to be there? Because this dad clearly wants to be there, and yet he clearly knows that it's going to be an issue if the mother shows up and he's there to see his kid that he hasn't been able to see. So why is, I mean, honestly, the way I see it is the mother should be happy that he wants to be involved in his kid's life, and he should be happy that her kid is happy with him. I mean, she should be happy with that. Instead of, being stressed out because he doesn't want to be there, she's making a big deal because he doesn't want to be there. So she's obviously using the kid as a tool to get back at him for whatever reason.
Fuck with him. Really quiet.
And he's even got to leave the car running just in case he's got to get out of there quick.
You see your daddy? Huh?
That's what I'm talking about. You see the smile on her face? Look at this. You can tell she is happy to see her dad, man. So for whatever reason, he doesn't have full custody. Obviously, it's not because he's a bad dad. Or if he doesn't have 50-50, it's obviously not because he's a bad dad. You see the smile on that kid's face.
You know what this is? All your school supplies. Everything. Yeah. This is what you want. What's in here? Huh? What's in here?
Are you?
What's in here? What kind of phone is it? Is that the one you wanted? Is that the good case? You know how much that cost? $1,000 goddamn dollars. Hell for nothing else. The rest of the next year. You happy now?
Yeah.
You better FaceTime me every goddamn day. You gonna FaceTime me every day? You miss one day, I'm repoing your shit. That's your phone bill. Your phone bill is
I used to like that part. That's actually one of my favorite parts of this video. This man said, you don't FaceTime me every day, I'm going to repo your phone. And, I mean, obviously that's because he's not allowed to see his kids. So, I mean, the only way he can see the kid is through FaceTime, which is pretty messed up. But, I mean, when you see these two together, I mean, look, this dude come up with school supplies, backpack, phones so that they could FaceTime. And his only requirement is that she FaceTimes him every day. That's the only requirement. That's the only thing he asked for. You know what I'm saying? And you see the smile on this girl. You know what I'm saying? So, for whatever reason, he doesn't have full custody. It's obviously not because he's a bad dad. From what I see, that's a good dad. And that is a child who is happy to be around her dad. Happy to be with her dad. Because, I mean, I'm assuming this is a step-parent or the dad's new girlfriend or wife or whatever, and she even gave her a hug. So, obviously, there's no conflict or issue there. So, the question is, why is this the mother, alienating the child from the dad? If there's actually no issue to keep the child from him, there's no safety issue. There's no... from what I can see, there's no safety issue and there's no issue as far as the child's safety or well-being. So, it doesn't make sense to me as to why this is okay for a mother to alienate a child from the dad, because he seems to be doing his part. Or at least what he can do, because he's not allowed to do anything else.
FaceTime me. You see this stuff? You know how to work out this stuff? You know how to set your phone up? You need any help with anything? I got your phone on, but you already know how to do that too, don't you? Because you know everything, don't you? Can I get some more hugs and kisses, please? Let me help this again, try. You know how much I love you? You know I'm going to go to court. We're going to get this stuff taken care of, right? I got you, baby. You need my time, okay?
See, I mean, and I heard that. Like, I mean, you could hear... Honestly, I heard how much that meant to him. You know what I'm saying? And how upset he was about the situation. He's like, we're gonna go to court. We're gonna get this straightened out so that you can spend more time with me on a scheduled basis. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, like I said, just why, as a mother, are you pushing kids off onto dads or fathers who don't want to be there? And why are you alienating dads that do want to be there? I mean, that doesn't make any sense because this guy doesn't, honestly, I watch this video and I see how happy these two are together and how much she clearly seems to love her dad. I don't see why there would be any issue to let him keep the child for a week, every other week. I don't see what the issue would be there. So why does the court say that that's okay? That's what I don't understand. Why does the court say that this is okay? This is acceptable to keep this man from this child who are clearly happy together. Why is that okay? And do y'all even care?
I'm waiting for this phone. Man, that's all you want is this phone. What you gonna have to for the phone to see your dad? Bro, which one though? Which one? I love you. You call me your name, you heard me?
Alright, so that's pretty much all of that one. I mean, I just wanted y'all to see. I mean, look, you saw how happy these two were together. Yet you could clearly see the title that this man had to sneak to see his daughter because the baby mother wouldn't let him. And again, the question is why? Because it's obvious that the reason is not because she doesn't want to see him. It's obvious that the reason is not because he doesn't want to see her. It's obvious that the reason is not that there's a safety issue. So why would you not let this man see the daughter that, and they clearly want to spend time together? So why? I don't understand why this is acceptable. And like I said in the last video, you saw these mothers pushing kids off on the fathers that didn't want them. You saw the reaction they got, how those guys flipped out. This guy's trying to see his kid and can't. I mean, again, please make that make sense to me. You're pushing kids off on the fathers that don't want them, and you're keeping kids from the dads that do want them. How does that make sense to me? It really doesn't make any sense at all. So let's move on to this next one. This next one's actually really heartbreaking. So let's just get into that and we'll break it down. Alright, so in this one, this is going to be the last clip I had into this one. And this is just actually really sad to me. And this is why I saved this one for last. It was sad because you can see how it affects the kid and you can hear how it affects the dad. And you see the title. It says, Mother withholds visitation and calls cops on daughter. Girl starts crying parental alienation. So, let's get into this one.
Hello, sir. May I ask what's going on, sir? May I ask what's going on?
I'll be sure to talk to Tempest. She's not wanting it. Alright, Tempest, I know you're stuck between something that's difficult. I understand that. The problem is, Mom has full custody of you, okay?
She has joint custody.
Well, yeah, full physical custody. I'm talking about. Joint legal, but she has full physical custody of you, okay? So physically, she's in charge of you.
And joint legal means they usually means you need consent from both parents, but full physical means the child lives with her full time. And that's a pretty messed up way for the court to really play that. Like, you're giving the dad permission to make important decisions in the child's life, but you're not giving him a scheduled time to actually have the child. And that alone doesn't make sense to me.
She's your mom also. And she's looking at doing some scheduling stuff. But the problem she's running into is she's saying that you're having more of an attitude. Now, I understand you can get frustrated. I'm sure you want to be with your dad. And when you're with your mom, you miss your dad. You're with your dad, you miss your mom. It can be tough. I understand it can. And maybe something in the future can change. And maybe in the future there could be a workaround that looks into more what you want. But right now your mom's main concern is your attitude and your behavior that's going on. Okay. She's very concerned about that. And she sees it a lot more when you're over here. Now I don't know what the cause of all that is. I'm not here to dive into that and figure it out. But she's saying she needs to cut back on it because that's an issue that she's having.
Alright, so basically what I hear is the mother is saying that the kid is coming back with an attitude problem when she comes to see the dad. And so that is her excuse for not letting her see her dad. But it could be that the attitude problem is that she is not getting enough time with her dad. And she doesn't like the fact that she doesn't have, neither one of them seem to have a choice in the matter because it's all up to the mother. And it's clear that the mother is really using that entitlement to get her way. Like, really, you should from either side, you should, try to give equal time to both parents. As long as there's no safety concerns or anything like that. And so as long as this man is not putting this kid in physical harm or there's no substance abuse, no excessive alcohol use, no DV, again, I'm not going to use that word, trying to keep everything clean for YouTube. But, as long as there's no real issues regarding the child's safety and well-being, you should really promote equal time with the other parent. Yet this mother is clearly using her quote-unquote full physical custody as a way to do basically whatever she wants with the child, regardless of how it makes the child or the dad feel. Because what it seems to me is like they're not actually considering what the child wants. Because, just going by the way she looks, just the facial expression alone, she's like, she seems to be looking at the mother like, I can't believe you're doing this. Like, really. But the mother doesn't care. And they usually don't. They don't care. They just want to keep the child from the dad. That's all it is. The dad probably ended the relationship and moved on and got with somebody else. And so as punishment for him moving on and finding someone better, they're going to keep the child from the dad because they're like, well, now I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to punish you because I wasn't good enough for you, but now you found somebody who is treating you better than I did, and you're supposed to be here for me, and you're not, so now you can't see your kid.
Sir, just for the record, she hasn't been here since March, so that's part of the issue. So if she cuts back, what's that mean? This is August.
And
Look, alright, oh my God, like, this dude said she hasn't been in, like, alright, so the complaint was for the mother to have this cop out here for, actually literally call the cop on her daughter. The mother's complaint was that every time she comes back from her dad, she has an attitude problem, and that's why she's not wanting to leave the child with the dad at this moment. But this man just said, well, she hasn't been here since March, and now this is August. So, how was the attitude problem related to being with me? Obviously, and again, that really kind of that really basically tells me that the child's attitude problem is coming from not being able to see her dad enough. That's what it says to me. If she hasn't been there since March, and then this is August, and the mother's complaint is that the daughter has attitude problems, maybe that's why. Maybe she wants to spend more time with her dad. And now you call the cop because she wants to spend time with her dad. That's pretty messed up, man. And this is why I want to point this stuff out, because court systems do not seem to acknowledge this type of situation, because this happens all over. I know at least the United States. I can't really say in other countries, but I know at least in the United States, this happens all over the place. And this lady clearly made up an excuse as to why she doesn't want to leave this kid with the dad. And like I said, maybe the issue is, maybe the attitude problems are because the girl is mad that the mother is not letting her see her dad. Maybe that's where the attitude is coming from. You ever think of that? No.
And here's the thing: if the court has a set schedule, that's something. But if she's the one that sets the schedule, it's up to her. So there's nothing that we can do about it. Mm-hmm. So if there's some,
and that's why I said in the first clip, the courts just automatically assume that these mothers are going to do the right thing, and this is clear evidence that they don't. They use that as entitlement to do what they want to do. That's power to them. That's leverage for them. Now, and the court systems and every man who has ever been through the court system, either for divorce or custody case or both, knows that the majority of the time, I would say 99% of the time, the courts side with the mothers, regardless. And it's because they generalize the situation. They say, well, she's the mother, as if all mothers are good mothers, as if all mothers do the right thing. And you mean to tell me, as a judge, you cannot comprehend the fact that some people are good people and some people are bad people? There are women in prison as well. So obviously not all women are good. You see what I'm saying? And if you are as a judge, you can't comprehend that, you're in the wrong business, dude. If you can't comprehend the fact that not everybody is a good person, not everybody is going to do the right thing, being a judge, and all the things that you've seen, if you've been a judge for 20 years, you've seen some pretty messed up stuff. And if through all them 20 years you can't identify the fact that not all people are good people, then you are in the wrong business and you don't need to be in that seat. Because especially when it comes to custody, that has to be an individual situation. You cannot say, well, she's the mother, as if all mothers are good mothers. Because there are a lot of mothers who do really bad things to kids. And as I've stated in other videos, if my videos have proven anything, it's that not all mothers are good mothers, and not all fathers are good fathers. But there are some good mothers, and there are some good fathers. And in these videos that I'm showing today, these are what I would consider the good dads, who are wanting to be there with their kids, who are wanting to spend time with their kids, who want to be actively involved in their kids, and for whatever reason are not allowed to be. And that's messed up, not only for the dad, but for the kids as well.
Scheduling that needs to happen, you can always apply for it, have a court hearing for it.
Yeah.
For a judge to decide, hear everything, and a judge to decide, okay, you know what, for this, you can be with dad this amount of days, for this week, this time during the summer,
yes, sir,
or not. So if it's something that needs to come to a court needing to schedule it, you can try to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, there's no court
Yeah,
schedule, right?
I packed all her stuff. I sent her out. I gave her food. I didn't know why you were here.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no court scheduling for who she's with, right? Okay. So if it comes down to it,
Okay, so if there's no court scheduling as to who she's with, then why is it not okay for her to stay with the dad? Because there's no court scheduling, then, and he said there's there's no court scheduling as to who she's supposed to be with during such and such time. So if the child says, "Well, I want to be with my dad right now," why does that not matter?
there's no federal case. It comes down to it where there's so for right now, there's no court schedule that tells you where you're supposed to be at a certain time. It's your mom because she has full physical custody of you. Okay. Sometimes you might not like it. You might not like leaving your dad. You're gonna miss him, but for right now, it's something that you have to do. Right?
Wow. That is messed up. That is really messed up. I mean, to look a child in the face and say, well, right now your mother has full physical custody of you, so it's her decision. So even if you want to be with your dad, you don't have a choice in the matter. Your mom does. Your dad doesn't have a choice in the matter, but your mom does. You don't have a choice in the matter, but your mom does. It doesn't matter what the child wants. It doesn't matter what the dad wants. The only thing that matters in this situation is what the mother wants. That's that's really messed up.
Maybe down the line, it might be something where we need to have a court come in and say, hey, this is what time you can spend with your dad. This is what time you can spend with your mom.
Sir, are you guys gonna physically put her in the car?
Yep. But at the same time, I mean, you have both your parents here. Your mom has full physical custody. Right? Just, if it has to come down to where you guys need to meet up in court, then that's probably the way it needs to go. But as of right now, she does have full physical custody of your daughter. I don't like seeing this kind of situation because now you're getting separated from one of your parents, and I'm sorry that you're in the situation. But can you get in the car with your mom for right now?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Then it's okay.
Honestly, that really seemed more like a scare tactic to me. Cause I mean, maybe the mother called the cop because the daughter didn't want to get back in the car. She was like, "No, I'm not getting in the car. I want to stay with my dad." So she called the cop to force the daughter, or to more or less give, like I said, a scare tactic to the child to make the child get back in the car, even though she didn't really want to. And that's. I mean, do you really consider that a good mother? I mean, somebody who would call the cops on her daughter just to alienate the child from the father. Is that really a good mother? Is that really somebody who is looking out for what the child wants or for the child's best interest? And this is why it's so messed up, is because it's obviously the court system, like, when the officer was saying, well, maybe, you need to go to court and, get a schedule. Obviously, if this lady's got full physical custody, obviously they've already been through the court system. And that's what the court system ruled. For whatever reason. But just like in the last clip, the reason is obviously not because this man is a bad dad. It's obviously not because this child is not safe with the dad. I don't know what the reason is, but it's obviously not for those reasons.
Thank you, Tempest. Hope you have a good day, okay?
Bye, Tempest. There's no need to cry.
Look. Right there. Look. That's why I picked this one to end this video on. You see how sad. This is why I said what I said throughout this clip. You can see how upset this daughter is. And in a second you're going to hear how it affects the dad as well. And the mother didn't care about any of that. The court doesn't care about any of that. All they care about is giving to the woman, providing for the woman, ruling in favor of the woman. And that's why I say you cannot generalize every single situation. Because not every mother is a good mother. And not every father is a bad father. And yet society and the court system seem to think a mother knows better than the father does. And that's not always the case. Again, if my videos have proven anything, is that is not always the case. Sometimes the father is a better option. Because, I mean, if a mother is going to do that to a child, and this dad is clear, like he said, she hasn't been here since March. This is August. And now this kid is being forced back into the car. So that means it's going to be even longer before she actually gets to spend time with her dad. So you're looking at 5 months without seeing her dad. And now she's got to go longer because her mother decided to pull this little situation out of nowhere because of the kid's quote-unquote behavior problems. And again, maybe this is why she has the behavior problems, because you are not letting her see the dad that she wants to see. You're not, like, she literally pulled up to this man's house. This girl went all this way thinking she was going to get to spend some time with her dad. And now, like, dude, 5 months without, he said she hadn't been here since March, and now this is August. 5 months without seeing your kid. And this is what you're going to do after 5 months that she, dude. And the court system is okay with this. They say, well, she's the mother. She knows better. She knows what's good for the child. No, she don't. She don't care, obviously. Because look at the face on this girl. And I guarantee you, when she got in the car, she cried all the way home. That's where her attitude problem is coming from. Because you're not giving her equal time with her dad. In fact, you're using her as a tool to get back at the dad. And that has been the common theme of this whole video, is mothers who are using kids as a tool to get back at the dads who actually want to be there. So again, please help me understand why it is okay to push a kid off onto fathers that don't want them. And why it is okay to alienate kids from the dads that do want them. Why is that okay?
There's no need to cry. We're doing all we can. Okay? You. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm ended there. I mean, again, I just wanted to really show you these things because, like, I promised this. I promised that I was going to show you because in the last video I mentioned that I wanted to show you the difference in the bad fathers and the good fathers. And unfortunately, in the last one, I didn't have enough time due to all the content in that one. So in this one, I guess you could say this is a part 2. But I wanted to show the flip side of that. As in the last one, it was the fathers that didn't want to be there. And those were only 2 clips. In this one, there was 3 clips. and all of dads who do want to be there. And each one of these dads had to deal with a mother who was trying to alienate the child from them for whatever reason. And the court system allows this to happen because they're not willing to see this issue. They're not willing to accept that this happens. Because again, they don't care. This is not their kid. Because the judge I had has kids. And yet he still forced my kid into a bad situation. Because he didn't care. That's not his kid. His kids are safe at home with their mother. He doesn't have to worry about that. This is just another case number to everybody involved. And so they're not thinking about the effects that their decisions has on these kids. Like, if this lady has full physical custody, even if they have joint legal custody, if she has full physical custody, obviously that means they've been through the court system. And the judge who was residing over their case made that decision. And he did so without even considering how it was going to affect the daughter. Because as you can see, this daughter is negatively affected by this. Because now the mother has permission to alienate the child from the father. And the court system gave her that permission. And it is clearly, and again, one common thing among all of these clips is that these are dads who obviously want to be there. These are dads who obviously, from what I see with the bond that they have with the kid, is obviously not an issue as, it's not a safety issue or a health issue. It is simply because the mothers are wanting to use that entitlement to just basically, or use the kids as a tool to basically just do whatever they want to do, regardless of how it makes the child feel, because they know how it makes the dad feel. And again, I'm going to leave it on this question: why is it okay to push a kid off onto father, or why are women pushing kids onto fathers that don't want them? And they're refusing to let the kids see the dads that do want them. Why is that okay? How is that okay? How is that acceptable in our court system? And why is our court system so naive to believe that this is going to be the outcome of their decisions? It's because they generalize everything. They don't individualize every single situation. Well, she's the mother. She knows best. She's going to do what is in the child's best interest. And then again, that is not always the case. And in the next video, I'm going to show exactly what I mean by that. So again, I'm going to end it on this question. Please, if you have an answer to it in the comment section, let me know. Why are women pushing kids onto fathers that don't want them and alienating the kids from the dads that do? Why is that happening, and why is that acceptable? So, again, if you made it this far, I really, really do appreciate your support. If you subscribe, thank you for coming back and supporting my channel. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and support the channel. I've got more to come. And I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, just please like and do all that good stuff to support the channel. And on that note, I will see y'all in the next one. Y'all have a good one.